What's up, everybody? Thanks for checking in with Callie. Please like, subscribe if you haven't. Not really good news, I would say. Of course, Paul George is dealing with a groin injury. We don't think it to be major. We don't, simply because we haven't heard enough about, the groin injury and the severity of everything. Ty Lue spoke on briefly a little bit about the groin injury, didn't really disclose any information in regards to, how serious it could be, whether it's going to like hold Paul George out a little while or whether, he's going to be able to just play through it and kind of make it through that. We definitely got to be precautious about that a little bit because that's one of those type of injuries where, it's just so uncomfortable to do certain things. It's so uncomfortable to, pretty much do anything. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those injuries where it's like you got to be really careful because you can play through it a lot of times, but when you play through it, of course, it only worsens over time. And then, depending on how, of course, when you go into these games, you're playing very hard. People are bumping you a lot. You're taking charges, things like that. It's always little nuances in there when it comes to injuries like that, where it's very delicate, of course, a very delicate area. And on top of that, it's a very delicate space where you don't want nobody to hit that. So it's like when you think about that in its entirety, you have to, kind of be, on the precautionary end. So, I mean, if Paul George misses some games, that's fine. They definitely still have enough to hold it down. Just like if any one of the others miss games, they got enough to hold it down until they come back. Almost like Kawhi a few weeks ago, he missed like 4 games. And then he came back and, everything was back to normal again. But hopefully the same thing with Paul George. Nothing really has came out about it like severe. So as I said before, that's always a plus. And, Paul George definitely is a big part of what they do. And, he just had a big night about a week ago, about, 37-point night. He really killed it in the fourth quarter. And then, so you always need his presence around in regards to what he can do scoring wise and things of that nature. But, and plus his defense as well. He will make some big defensive plays also. So, I mean, we know what Paul George can do. I mean, we know what it is. We know how, great of a player he can be. We know what he brings to this team. So definitely, I hope that he gets healthy as possible. Now, a good thing for the Clippers, they have 2 days off technically before they play the Toronto Raptors. And, the Toronto Raptors is a team I think they should beat. So honestly, if it's bothering him, if it's bothering him a little bit, I really think they should probably sit Paul George, at that for the Toronto Raptors game, because I think, of course, the Clippers should be able to, beat them without, Paul George. But I mean, nothing's no guarantee. Teams come out there and play hard, and they definitely want to play hard against the Clippers because that's a team that is ascending right now, and that's a team that looks like it's championship ready. So I mean, anytime you can get a victory against a team like that, you know what I'm saying, you hang your hat on that and you try to build on top of it. So I'm pretty sure, of course, the Toronto Raptors are going to come out and play hard and things of that nature. But I still think the Clippers can ultimately find a way to get a win because, they're just better than Toronto. And at this point, like I said, they got so many other like players who could step up. I mean, that could be a game Norman Powell comes out and drop 20 plus points. James Harden's been dropping 20 plus points the last couple of games. Russ, has been playing, highly, very, very good the last couple of games. And then, Kawhi is always just Mr. Consistent, both ends of the floor. I'm saying Terminator, T2, T3, whatever you want to call him, coming to kill something. He's ready to shoot something every time he sees somebody out there on the court other than his teammates. So you know how he does, and it's really nothing to be said about that. But I definitely hope that Paul George stays healthy because we don't want none of the other situations where anything can intervene with this team from making that championship run, because the way they look right now, I really don't think no team wants to play them in a 7-game series. Even if you beat the Clippers a couple of games in the regular season, still in a 7-game series, I don't think you want to see this team because, like I said, you're going to get playoff Kawhi, and we all know playoff Kawhi is real. I don't know about playoff Jimmy and all the other bull crap, but I mean, I know playoff Kawhi is for real. And we all know what he does in the playoffs, and we all know he turns it up a notch. And when I mean a notch, really he turns it up 2 notches, if you ask me. And then on top of that, if Paul George and them come along, which I know they will, which I believe they will, this team is going to be a tough out. This team is just not going to be a team you really want to face, not in a 7-game series. So with that being said, I definitely hope that PG stays healthy. I definitely hope that everybody on the team stays healthy because, I mean, this is really the time for them to do it. You know what I'm saying? The Nuggets are, fairly good, you know what I'm saying? But they're kind of vulnerable to me a little bit more this year than they were last year. The Lakers look vulnerable, definitely. They look like they might not even make the damn play-in the way they're playing. And the fact that the Timberwolves at the top of the rankings, that doesn't really scare me any. Anthony Edwards is he's a good player. I really think he's a superstar type player, caliber player. And matter of fact, I really think he's actually there, honestly. But, it's just the Timberwolves that they're not a team that really, threatens me or I feel threatened by, or any other Clippers fans should feel threatened by, or anybody else's team in the NBA really shouldn't feel threatened by them. Yeah, they're the number one seed and all that stuff, but it doesn't mean a damn thing, because in the playoffs, you got to be able to go through the ropes. You got to be able to go through the trenches and get all the way to be the last man standing. I don't really believe the Timberwolves can do that. It almost reminds me of a situation where the Utah Jazz a few years ago, when they had Donovan Mitchell, there, and the Utah Jazz is like the number one seed or something like that. And then we all know how that went. They didn't get anywhere. They didn't get to the conference finals. They didn't get to the finals. I mean, I think they got to the second round at best, and I think the rest was history. So, I mean, to me, the Timberwolves are like one of those teams, really not a threat to nobody when it comes down to being serious and taking it, taking every game for what it's worth. I think ultimately the Timberwolves' demise is just, on the way. It just hasn't happened yet because the season's still in flux right now. But either way, like I said, the Clippers definitely are in contention to do a lot of great things, and we need everybody to stay healthy, because, the one thing with this team is injuries has always been the constant with this team, and we don't necessarily want to keep seeing that over and over and over and over. So, I'm hoping Paul George stay healthy, Kawhi, PG, all of them, everybody, Harden, Westbrook, everybody on the team. They definitely need the opportunity to go out there and try to win a championship with being fully healthy, because they've been stripped of that opportunity the last couple years. So hopefully, this will be the year they can do that.